You feel helpless watching a parent struggling with dementia, waiting for the inevitable collapse, wondering if the reality is your future. I'm Michael McGinnis, and this is Poetry Before the Storm, sponsored by Nix's Mate. There are many paths to poetry. Walk with us, one line at a time. nixsmate.pub. When my father was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, I saw nothing out of place. He had already gone through prostate cancer with its hormone therapy, so mood changes appeared coincidental. It was only when he started searching for words, as if out chasing fireflies, that I noticed something truly wrong. He was smarter and more well-read than I ever gave him credit for, even though there were virtually no books in my house when I grew up, except for the ones I stole from the bookstores and smoke shops of Malden. Yet, my father had a knowledge of the world that I never realized he had until after I got out of the Navy. When that knowledge slunk away, first a word or two, then sentences, and finally washed out paragraphs, I felt terror. Was that my future? Would I try to have a conversation and end up crying because language had failed me as I saw it do to him more than once? When we talked and he lost his way, my inclination was to find the words for him, but then even that failed him. Eventually, he no longer recognized words or place. After his 2 days in hospice and then the night at home where he finally gave up the ghost, I told my brother and 2 sisters that if that form of dementia was hereditary and I started losing words and sentences, I would walk into the ocean. I did not want to go out like my father. This week's poet, Christine Jones, has turned her observations and care for her mother, who is fused with dementia, into a poetry that becomes a way for her mother to communicate outside the reality her disappearing mind has created. Nix's Mate Review published 2 of Christine's poems in its COVID issue. Please welcome Christine Jones.
The following 2 poems are part of a larger manuscript which shares the title of one of the poems, Now Calls Me Daughter, and is a product of experiencing my mother's progression with Alzheimer's. The title relates to the intimate relationship of the present moment as it pertains to relating with my mother during this disease process. The content of our conversations really is less important these days and more about the emotional resonance of how it feels being in the presence of someone very close to you who is losing context to time and memory. These poems and the book is my attempt at exploring the wide range of these emotions. Now calls me daughter. Calls me in the middle of the night to say voices are watching her sleep. She's looking for her shoes. She's watched the nightly news, feels the flooding in Japan just outside her bedroom door. I bring her closer, nearer the sun's blaze and vanishing. Now sits habitually in a blue chair and a hummingbird siphons the sugar. She sweeps the floors, her trail clean. Now sews a button on my jeans, dices ripe tomatoes for the sauce I'm simmering with Merlot. Now in Autumn, Sonnet 2. On the clothesline dries her flowered blouse, and while a taut breeze blows, she makes precise small piles by the house. No leaf escapes her merry rake. Now wears a berry fleece wool hat ill-fitted, knitted long ago. She fancies red birds bright and fat, spreads toasted breadcrumbs in the grove. Now greets the cedar tree by name, the cat, the squirrel with ma chère. Her thoughts unfazed, a late noon shade, rest in the old oak rocking chair. And when the tree frog hours come, she briefly hears her name, maintenant.
Poetry Before the Storm is a production of Nix's Mate. Nix's Mate, publishing all 26 letters of the alphabet since 2016. Find us at nixsmate.pub.